This is the afternoon edition of the Weather Xtreme video. This is for Friday, November 21st. I'm James Spann. The focus of this discussion will be the severe weather threat for the southern half of the state on Sunday and Thanksgiving week weather. Hey, about time for a holiday. Let's take a look at things today. What a beautiful day. Goodness, it is just delightful. Bright sunshine. That's our Trussville sky cam. Feels good. That's our Fayette sky cam. Few scattered clouds around there. And down south, few folks on the beach, Gulf Shores, on a bright sunny November afternoon. Big upper air pattern change. The big trough over the east is gone. We are watching the short wave over the southwest United States, and that will bring our next opportunity of wet weather before the weekend is over. Might bring some severe weather to parts of the Gulf Coast region. And yes, indeed, it feels good. The only spot not in the 60s, actually two spots, Muscle Shoals and Fort Payne. They've got 59. Look at Tuscaloosa, 68. Birmingham and Anniston, 65. Tomorrow will be pretty comfortable, but again, the eastern side of the state will be cooler tomorrow, thanks to cold air damming. And around the nation, still pretty cold up north, but down here in the deep south, it looks a whole lot better. Good to see the 60s and a few 70s showing up. Up north, that's a freezing rain advisory for parts of Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, around Chicago and Milwaukee. And winter storm watches and warnings back in the northwest United States. But we are watching convective trends. This is the convective outlook for the rest of today and tonight. A marginal risk for parts of Texas, including the hill country. Tomorrow, the guys at SPC have dropped the enhanced risk of severe weather. Now we have just the standard slight risk over about the southern half of Texas, South Louisiana, and the Gulf Coast region of Mississippi and Alabama. And for Mobile and Gulf Shores, any issues would come after midnight tomorrow night. And then Sunday, day 3, we have the standard slight risk over about the southern half of the state, basically along and south of US 80, or south of a line from Demopolis to Selma, Montgomery, and Opelika. A marginal risk as far north as Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, and Anniston. And this is the graphic prepared by the guys at the Weather Service in Birmingham. And they're suggesting the main window 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. Sunday. And like we've discussed here, the main chance of severe weather over the southern half of the state. Some pretty big rains on the Gulf Coast for the next 5 days. This is valid through Wednesday evening, and of course the bulk of this will come Sunday. Amounts down there could approach 3 inches, and up this way, amounts will be closer to 1 inch. All right, model fans, let's take a look. This is tomorrow at 12 noon at 500 millibars, the GFS, the 12Z run. Shortwave energy around the Rio Grande Valley of Texas. Down below that, rain over the state of Texas. But here we've got that 1032 millibar high over eastern North Carolina. And that should set the stage for a thermal contrast. The day will be dry. Some clouds around, but no rain. Temperatures coming off the high-res NAM. Tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock, you can see Fort Payne is at like 53. Upper 50s for Anniston and Gadsden. But on the western side of the state, Tuscaloosa is at 66. And you go over to Atlanta, they're barely out of the 40s over there. So again, it's the classic cold air damming situation where East Alabama cooler, West Alabama warmer tomorrow. But again, the day dry. Sunday, that southern stream energy is starting to go negative tilt. And often when that happens, you can see some severe weather. The surface chart looks fairly favorable for severe weather across the south with a 997 millibar low near Tulsa. With rain and storms advancing in here, we note that this run is a little slower. And, of course, that means that we could be the core of the storms come in during the peak of the daytime heating process. The air could be a little more unstable. This is the high-res NAM, the projected radar reflectivity at noon Sunday. Looks like we'll be in active weather with rain and storms. But here's the key. This is Sunday at noon. This is the projected CAPE, the surface-based instability, and we don't have any here. The CAPE is basically really south of Linden and south of Hayneville and south of Union Springs and south of Phoenix City. Up this way, no instability, and that is the main limiting factor for severe weather, as we've talked about all week, and hopefully that will mitigate any problems up here. Wind fields are very strong. This is noon Sunday. The wind field at 850 millibars, the low-level jet, if you will, about 5,000 feet off the ground, 50 knots there. And the shear values are way up there. That's a 40-knot shear, and this is between the surface and 925 millibars. And occasionally when you see high shear values like that in the low levels, that can mean a tornado threat. And quite frankly, we're very fortunate here that we're not showing any surface-based instability, but certainly storms over South Alabama could rotate. There could be an isolated tornado Sunday. And the energy helicity index, nothing up here. It's all way down south. And again, that's simply because of the lack of instability. And of course, one thing you have to consider, could the models be underestimating the amount of instability? We'll just have to wait and see. A lot of questions here. But at the moment, we'll maintain the higher chance of severe weather over the southern half of the state Sunday. And it should wrap up Sunday night. This is Monday. Cold front coming in. And the high Monday probably in the 60s. And there could be a shower with that front, but wouldn't count on it. Looks like the moisture should be depleted. This is Tuesday. We start to turn colder. And again, this is looking dry. The high dropping in the 50s. And this is Wednesday, Thanksgiving Eve. Look what's back. It's the Western Ridge and the Eastern Trough. And more cold air coming down the pike. That's a 1,041 millibar high north of the Dakotas. And that'll drive highs down in the 40s based on those thickness values, and lows probably in the 20s. This is colder than the run we showed you this morning, and this is Thanksgiving Day. Let me back up, though. This is back to Wednesday, big travel day. Most all of the nation is very quiet. I mean, that's a great look for travel right there. Now, this is Thanksgiving Day. And again, you can still see a pretty chilly north wind. The latest GFS has dropped the high down to 46 in Birmingham with the low in the 20s. So a cold, dry Thanksgiving Day. Black Friday, start to warm up a little bit, high around 50. And this is Iron Bowl Saturday, November 29th. And if this is right, the weather cool and dry with no rain worries. Go out there a few more days. December 4th, that looks relatively wet. And December 7th, no cold air with that look. Heights are above average over much of the eastern U.S. and down below that. Looks pretty quiet. Temperatures for the next 15 days. We peak maybe Sunday with 71. Then you can see that Thanksgiving chill. Highs go in the 40s and lows below freezing. And after that, temperatures about where they should be as we get into early December. That's it for the Weather Xtreme video this afternoon. We'll have notes in the blog. My next video will be Monday morning at 7. Brian Peters, the man that looks like Colonel Sanders. We'll have the video updates tomorrow and Sunday. And if you can, catch us this evening on the live stream of the television side, ABC 3340 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, and God bless.